everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 68, part 7 of the P's. I think it's part 7. Anyway, this one seems to be dragging on, and I think we said that last round. We've just gotten very distracted. There's been a lot going on outside of filming, unfortunately. So, before we get started though, as always, if you like this type of content, please like the video for us. That really does help us out. Subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that bell icon if you want any notification of any future content.
And you can click the link below and follow us on all of our social media.
Yeah. All right.
So we got 9 games.
Yes.
So start small, I guess.
Sure.
We'll start off with an old Mayfair game with the box upside down called Portal Heroes.
Portal of Heroes.
Portal of Heroes.
Portal of Heroes.
I know it so well.
Yes. This one made a big splash. They advertised the heck out of this one when it first came out, to the point that when we went to pick it up,
we were surprised how small it was. Yeah, because
we were shocked it was a small card game.
If you ever been to Gen Con, they advertise on the stairs. They kind of have the
stair
game
steps,
going
yeah.
down, and this was on all the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Big signs everywhere. You're thinking, oh my God, this must be a huge game. No.
It is.
It's a decent game, but it wasn't as huge games.
No, I was expecting a giant
game.
Box. It is 5 little player trays. These are your player mats. This is it. And 2 decks of cards. These are your, I don't even remember what they call them now. They're the wizards. They're various creatures that you are trying to recruit through the portals.
Yes.
And each one will tell you 2 things. It'll tell you the number combination you need to discard in order to attain them, to satisfy them, and then the victory points they're worth at the end of the game. On your turn, you can only ever have 2 of these at most in your portal. There are 4 of the pearl cards laid out. The pearl cards are various numbers, I think 1 to 9. Just beautiful artwork. Then there are character cards. The character cards have diamonds on the back. These come into play, if I remember correctly. You can do special things with some diamond cards after you've recruited the thing.
Right. Some have one-time power, some have ongoing powers.
So there's 2 of these laid out. On your turn, you could do one of a couple, or you can do 3 of any 4 actions. You can take a pearl card and add them to your hand. If I remember correctly, though, you can only ever have 5 cards in your hand. You have to discard down at the end of your turn. You can recruit a character card, in which case you recruit them out of the middle and put them on your board. Again, you can only ever have 2. You can activate a card. So for instance, this guy requires 2 8s in order to activate him. I could play 2 8s out of my hand, and now he goes into my victory point pile, and these get discarded out of the game, or well, the discard pile. So that's one option. Or if I don't like any of these cards, I can use one of my 3 actions to wipe the board and put out 4 new cards. That's another option. And then hopefully I have an action left to take one of them, because, you know, I just used an action to replace them all. After you've recruited, basically the game ends when one player hits a certain victory point status with these numbers. But a lot of these cards will have special abilities on them that are one-time uses. Some of them give you permanent uses. There's a lot of interesting decisions to make with it, because you've got your cards. You can only keep so many cards. So if you're looking for those 4 7s, but you cannot find 7s, do you give up on that temporarily and grab something you know you can get done? I don't know. I really enjoy this one. I like this one. We have this, actually have this in both collections. We've had this copy since it came out at Gen Con years ago. I found another copy of it at a yard sale for like $1, so I bought it for the other collection. But yeah, can't tell the year. Nope. It had to have been like 2015, 2016, thereabouts. But yeah, I've always enjoyed this one. I like it. 16, okay. I knew it was sometime in that range. It was toward the end of Mayfair, unfortunately. All right, but that is Portal of Heroes. Just an interesting little card game. Plays, I think it's 5 players too. It's a decent player count. Yeah, 2 to 5. Yeah, Portal of Heroes.
Next we have is Potions a Wizard's Apprentice game.
I remember we picked this one up on clearance at Saltier's years ago. We moved it over to the travel collection a while back because it just never saw any play on our end. Cute little props. I'll give them that. So, oh yeah, the bag that was useless. Yeah, you don't even use it. All right, so basic.
Yeah, horrible trick.
That insert is awful. Okay, so the basics with this one, you're drawing cards and discarding cards. You have 4 cards in your hand. Oop, that's 5. 4 cards in your hand. The cards all correspond with a side of the die. Each roll, it's one of 4 different things. There's potions, there's the type of spell or potion, there's ingredients, and like powder, drink, or ointment, the delivery.
Potion type, ingredients 1, ingredients 2, and the application.
Application, which is like powder or ointment or drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 4 cards in your hand. Whoever first rolls the dice. From then on, you're trying to get your hand to match those dice. But there are cards in here that can let people re-roll dice. Once you have a match,
steal cards,
you can take that and you can put it down. So I've matched, well, and there's wild cards. So I'm going to save that one. I'm going to save Tooth of Dog because that is up on this dice. So I need that. Okay, fine. So I've got those 2 saved. Now I only have 2 cards in my hand. But now Greg gets a card that lets him re-roll, and he's going to re-roll Tooth of Dog. Well, shoot. I no longer have Tooth of Dog. I have to pick that card back up. So it's a constant juggle of dice getting re-rolled, people stealing stuff from your hands, trying to match these 4 by pulling 1 card and then putting it back down. And I got 2 changes in a row. Pulling a card, discarding a card. That's all you're doing. Once you make the match, you get 2 of the tokens out of here. Yeah. First person to 6 wins. Now there is an option you can challenge. If you think you have more of the matches than anybody else, because you don't have to put your stuff down. If you think you're going
to match it better than anybody else at the end of that turn.
Yes, you can call the challenge.
You win.
Everybody else gets 1 turn. Yep. And whoever wins the challenge at the end of that 1 turn gets a potion.
And it's 7.
6.
6.
It's an okay game. We've played it 3 or 4 times now. We've played it 2-player. We've played it 4-player.
5, actually.
Oh, is it 5? Okay. Maybe we always end up with 6 because we never do the challenges. I don't know. Nope. We're going to let this one go. It's just not that interesting. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Potions, a Wizard's Apprentice game, is going to...
On its way out.
It's on its way out the door. Yep. Poof. It's gone. All right.
Next we have Point Blank. As you can see, this is a really old game.
Yes.
Gabriel. I don't know if Gabriel is even.
I don't think they are.
High Q game.
I know I've seen a year on it, but it's not on here. All right, so this is one of the game is so old that the instructions are actually, well, wait a minute, hold on, before I do this. The instructions are back here.
Upside down.
Upside down. There you go. There's your roll. It's not even on the inside of the box. It's on the back of the box. So at least you know how to play before you spend the money on it. All right, so the way this one plays, everybody has a supply of tokens.
The date is on it. It's whatever.
Oh.
It's in Roman numerals.
Oh, Lordy.
I don't know what
I don't know my Roman numerals well enough.
I'm thinking 19...
Yeah, I don't know my Roman numerals. Something 9. It ends in a 9. I can tell that much.
So it says MCMLXXIX.
L is 50. XX would be 10. So 79. I'm going to guess 1979.
If you know, comment below.
Yeah. The way this plays, whoever the first player is puts a piece down. That piece, wherever your piece starts, dictates the next place you have to go. So each player is doing this. So now I have to go here. Oop, I can't do that. That's illegal. I can turn it one of 5 different directions, whichever way I want to go. But,
or that way.
Or that way. Okay, one of 8 different directions. Sorry. And then from there, you just keep doing this until somebody can no longer play. That's the entire game. I mean, it's an interesting 2-player strategy game, but it kind of fell flat with us.
This reminds me of the Tron Motor, the cycle game. from the old Tron arcade games.
Oh, I don't remember that
Where
one.
the speed bikes where they're racing, they leave the trail of color behind them, and they're trying to block the other one in. And if you cross the other person's light or your own light, you die.
Well, luckily you don't die in this one because,
Well,
yeah,
no, but you're trying to block the other person off, so you have a lot of extra space to go.
Yeah. See, like this could go here, and then I can cross there. No, I can't go there.
You can't go right there.
How was I just thinking?
I don't know.
I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, see, he's got me trapped in here now, so I can, yeah, he would win this one. But it's going to leave the collection too. It just...
It's old.
Well, it's older. It's not...
It's a two-player game.
It's a two-player game, which we not that I shy away from two-player games. We play a lot of two-player games. I just don't think it's all that engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to let this one go, save some space on the shelf. But that is High Point, or Point Blank. I was combining High Q with Point Blank. Never mind. This is Point Blank, an High Q game. That is hard to say. Anyway, we're done.
Next we have Poppa's Pizza Topple. This is a dexterity game, and we all know what I think of dexterity games.
He was grouchy when we were playing this one. So the way this one goes, you have two modes of play. You have Poppa here, and you could either put Poppa on his feet, which keeps him from rolling around, and then you put his pizza right there.
Yes,
that's one option, pizza crust, I'm sorry. Or you could put Poppa directly on the table, so Poppa's moving along with the pizza crust. So you roll a die. The die tells you a number of different ingredients. If you roll a single ingredient, that's the ingredient you have to put on the pizza somewhere. If you roll the multiple ingredient, then you get to choose which ingredient you're going to put on someplace. If you roll Poppa, you luck out, you pass your turn. Yeah. So, and then you just keep doing this, rolling the die until somebody knocks stuff off. Ooh, Papa's rolling around on that one. That's the basis of the game. I like the design of this one.
What is the age on this? For children under 3.
Mostly because they don't want them chewing on the pieces. They're rubber.
Ages 3 and up.
3 and up. There we go.
So it said not for children under 3.
So we have a lot of these types of dexterity games. Some that have a more adult theme. I wouldn't even say adult theme. They're just abstract. They're not pizza. Mm-hmm. We have the penguin one, though, that we have always really enjoyed. And that's the one we're going to hold on to. I don't think we need multiples of Topple type games.
Nope.
So I figure one adult version, which is Topple, and then this one, or not this one, I'm sorry, the penguin one is going to be enough. So, but I think it's a cute game. I did really enjoy it. I love these pieces. These pieces are rubbery and these are nice. I do actually really like these pizzas. These pizzas? These pieces. But we are going to let this one go, so I'm hoping we can find a good home for it. All right. And that is Poppa's Pizza Topple. Unfortunately, it toppled way too easily, and we are going to let him go. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
Next we have, Point Salad. Keep it in the food thing.
Yeah. All right. Point Salad is a newer card game that has been actually very popular, and it's had a lot of iterations
Point
now.
City, and now they've talked about the release of, what was it? I showed it to you last night.
You did.
Point
Galaxy?
I think
something like that.
It's a space
theme, yeah.
So
all right, so with this one, you have a couple of different options. Well, first of all, you have 3 piles out, depending on player count. You have 3 piles out and 2 options on each one. Whoops, boop, boop. Each player is basically taking one of a couple of different cards. You can either take 2 ingredient cards, or you can take the top card of
the scoring card.
The scoring card. The scoring cards is ultimately how you get your points. However, at any point during the game, you can take one of your scoring cards and flip it over to the vegetable side. Once it's flipped, it can't flip back, though. Right. You can't take any of these guys and flip them over to the scoring side. They have to stay on the vegetable side.
Once it's a vegetable, it's always
it stays
a vegetable.
Right. At the end of the game, after you're done collecting up, the game ends when all of the cards are gone. You take all of the cards that are still remaining on the score side and you score up your points based on your individual cards. It's a super light game. Total.
Point City is, that we don't have.
We do not have Point City.
Has enough difference in it to make it a whole different game.
It makes it more complex. There was they added just a hair more complexity to that one.
Yep. So who knows what the new one will be?
Right. Oh,
like.
I got cards flipped over. There we go. Right. How much more complexity they're going to add. But no, I really like this one. I've always, it's a nice, fast, end of the night.
Yeah, it's 15 to 30 minutes. And I don't think we've played it. Four player, I don't think it's taken 30 minutes.
No, we played 4-player the other night with Doug and Mary from Topple Nerds. And I think each game was 15, 20 minutes max. It was very fast. But it's a deck of cards. So you can easily just take it with you anywhere you want. And yeah, it's a super, not a big footprint, super light game. Really enjoy this one. Anyway, that is Point Salad. It is definitely going to stick around. If I can find a copy for the other room, I will definitely grab one because I think it's a good one. Yeah, all right.
Next we go from food to the plague.
Plague, yeah.
This is I can't remember, I think it is, I'm not sure which came first, whether the app, the game app, or the board game came first. Either way, there's one of each, though.
I think it was the app, is what I remember
I had
hearing.
this on the phone before, so.
Okay, so this one we're getting into a little heavier games. Yeah. So here is your board. Your board is essentially a representation of the different continents on the world, I should say. So each of the 6, well, not even a continent, an area of the world. Yep. 5 continents in one area. How's that? Everybody has their player board, and on your player boards you have 2 choices. You can play as the bacteria or you can play as a virus. Each one has different properties and gives you slightly different actions during the game. Different things you can do, different bonuses you can do. You seed the board, first of all, with various starting countries. So there's one of the cards out there has a number of countries. The game ends when this country deck runs out. So you have different countries with different hexagon markers on them. The countries go wherever they say they are. So Japan is going to go over here in Asia, and France is going to go over here in Europe. Each country card has some different indicators on it. At the start of the game, everybody is going to seed one country. Whatever their starting country was, they're going to seed their starting country with one of their disease markers. And everybody has these little hexagon disease markers. And then you have your point tracker, which is this little DNA thing. Yeah, it's all 4 colors. And you have, of course I would pick the one that's not going to stand out on the board at all. Give me the yellow or the black. Yeah, this will be fine. So,
there's no black. It's purple.
Oh, it's purple. That looked black from here. All right, so everybody has their DNA markers, and they have their little hexagon pieces, and you're going to seed your starting country with one of them at the start of the game. Throughout the game, you have to, and this all outlines on these cards, which I think is beautiful. So at the start of the game, everybody, you score DNA based on how many countries you control. You control a country if you have the same as or the most DNA markers of your markers in a country, your disease markers. At that point, you choose a country. So you choose from the cards laid out, you choose a country card off of the board. Some of the country cards have different features on them. They're, of course, into one of the 6 regions of the world. Some of them are heat resistant. Some of them have air flight. They can be they have an airport there, so now you can fly to any place else. Your disease can travel to any place else with an airport. Some of them have ports, so now your disease can travel to anywhere else with a port, so long as you have that ability. I think that's all the real markers. Oh, there's heat resistant, and then there's cold resistant. Those are the 4 markers you're looking at on the country cards that you're placing out. Then there are trait cards. You can also draw trait cards. Trait cards are drawn blindly out of a deck, because
There's part of it one of the actions you can do
is to draw. Pick up
draw.
trait cards. So the trait cards are a number of different things. They cost you points. So throughout the game, you are gaining points on this track, but you are also spending these points. Now, mind you, these are the game-winning points. This is the final score of the game. But you can spend these points to give your illness a trait.
Yep.
This one would cost, this is hypothermia. It gives me cold resistant, so now I can go into any country that has cold resistance. It also has 1 point of lethality. That comes into play when you are,
the dice.
Yeah, when you're rolling the dice to try to, and this gets morbid, kill off a country.
Yep.
But it cost me 12 victory points to do it, 12 DNA points. Or maybe I'm going to go with this air transmission. Air transmission doesn't do anything for me other than the fact it allows me to travel by air. So I can now make use of those airports. But it cost me 2 points. So you are slowly building out your board with different types of traits. And each trait will allow you to do different things. So at the end of your turn, if any one of these countries is completely full, whoever is in control of that country can now roll the lethality dice. Oh, well, plus you get to infect. You get to infect based on your infection rate. And everybody starts with 2 infection rate, and you can get more through traits. So infection, all you're doing is taking out some of your cubes
and putting them out
on countries where you already have something or you are able to get to. Like if I had that airborne, because Japan has an airport, I could now fly over here to France and start with France if I wished, because they both have airports and I have airborne transmission. After that's done, any country that is completely full, whether it be just with me or with multiple, there could be 4 different players in there. But as long as I have control of that country, then I get to roll the lethality dice. Everybody starts with 1 point of lethality. All that means is I have to roll a 1 to claim this card for good. And I can't get the victory points off of it until it's claimed. As I increase my lethality, then now I roll a 2 or a 3 or a 4, depends on what my lethality rate is. So there's a lot to think about with this. I really enjoyed it at 4 players, despite the morbid theme.
Yeah. And the fact that if you had air transmission out and you're like, I don't need that anymore.
No.
I need,
you can cover
up
it.
the old ones. And the points that are shown, you're going to get those at the end of the game.
So if I started out with the 2 just to get myself spread out into the different countries, because once I'm in Asia, I can go to other countries in Asia. I just can't go to a country down in South America if I don't have airborne or waterborne transmission. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You can cover this. Say maybe I'm already in all 6 countries or 6 areas. I don't need to go anywhere else. I can now cover that 2-pointer with this 12-pointer. Yes, I'm spending 12 points to get it, but I'm going to get those 12 points back at the end of the game. I won't get these 2, but I will get these 12.
I don't think I've ever seen a total organ failure. It's 21.
I think
it has 3 lethality.
Yeah, I think I had that one in the last game. I just never got it out because it was the end of the game and I didn't want to use 21 points.
Yep.
So I actually enjoyed this one. I did not. I don't remember if I enjoyed it the first time we played it or not, because we only played it 2-player.
This one, if you've ever played Contagion from Pandemic, it's kind of the same.
A little bit.
I think I like this one better.
I did too. I did too. I think this one has a lot more decision space.
Yeah.
Than Contagion did. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. We're going to hold on to it.
So yeah, so it was the computer game was out first because they give you a thing for the original.
There you go. Well, there's your answer.
I don't know if it's available anymore though.
The computer game?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's not there. If you know, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. 85 million players infected with Plague Inc. Okay. What is it? The strategy game of infection, evolution, and extinction. Yes. I think I took out the U.S. because I think I was the only one in the U.S. I think it was my starting country. Sorry, guys. Anyway, that is Plague Inc., the board game. Ironically fun despite the theme. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good one. All right.
Next we have Porta Nigra. Yeah, it's Nigra, right? Porta Nigra.
Nigra, I think.
Nigra.
Okay. So this one, oh, the board's not that hard to get to, I guess. The board
You
is,
just have to empty the entire box.
well, yeah. The board is made up of, is essentially one large rondelle. And throughout the game, if I can,
It's easy to get to, folks. It's at the bottom of the box.
gosh, it is. Anyway, so this is your board. If I can get to it without spilling things on the floor. Here's your board. It's basically a rondelle of 4 spots. You have, everybody has this little horse character in here that is moving depending on the area you want to be in. And that is one of your turns. You can spend a gold to move around.
Section.
So there are building pieces up here. Well, everybody has their little building tray. This tells you what color piece you just bought, what color pieces you have. The pieces, unfortunately, which, I mean, I get it. I can imagine trying to find the right pieces all the time for all the individual colors. It would have made the board look really pretty if they had. But there are different pieces out here in the market. If you are down here in this section, you have access to the blue market and the white market, which is expensive, but they're wild. If you're over here, you have access to the red and white, to the yellow and white, and over here, the black and white. Okay, so on your turn, there is always going to be at least 7 out here for sale. If there's not, you have to fill the market. There's some cards that tell you how to do that. Once you've bought something, if you choose to buy, you put them onto your player board in that area. So if I'm over here and I bought a red, this would go right here to indicate I have 1 red building piece.
And the player board tells you what each color costs.
Yes, each color costs something different. So now the idea is that each section has, and I don't know if you can see it, each section has these little areas where it tells you what color they want and how many points they are, and it shows you how many pieces you need to have to build there. So if I had 2 reds, I had bought 2 reds, I could go here and immediately score 7 points. But I got to be in this area. I can't be in the red area and do this. But in the over here, well, this you have to have a minimum of 3, so I couldn't even do that. I could go over here and get 7 points, or I could just spend one of them here and get 3, or over here and get 7 points. So I could. There's a lot of different areas I could go to. You do this with each of the colors. You do this until there's a certain, what is it? There is, I do not remember what the end of the game is marked by now.
I will look.
Yeah, look at look at that. Anyway, so you keep doing this throughout the game. There are multiple scoring area. There's something that triggers like mid-game scoring. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head now. But you can collect sets. There are cards out on the side of the board that indicate the different sides, and whenever you build with a specific color in that section, then you get to collect those cards. Those cards are set collection for the end of the game. At the very end of the game, there is area majority bonuses you get for each of the sections. What is it? Oh, it's just 3 rounds. That's right.
So in a 2-player game, it's 3 rounds. Anything else, it's
just
2
the 2 rounds. Okay. In each game, or each round, you have a hand of cards. Oh, see, there's your horsey. There's your horse that moves around the board. Anyway, you have a hand of cards. These cards depict different actions you can take during the round.
Yep.
You get to choose from 2. You shuffle up your deck, blah, blah, blah. You choose 2 off the top. These are the 2 you have choices between. And then the next round, you've played this one, you draw the next one, and now these are the 2 you have choices between. Okay, I'm going to use this one. And it keeps going like that till you're down to your very last card, and this is what you have to do on the last turn of that round. So, and each of these are different things. You can pick up tokens that give you extra help later in the game. You can buy a black piece no matter where you're at, or you can buy any color depending on where you're at. Or no, the black piece, you have to be in the black area in order to buy the black piece. So this determines what you can buy.
Right, where you need to be.
Down here, it shows you how many actions you get. Yeah, so in this card, I can take 2 of these 3 actions. That's it. Some of these, like this one, has 5 different options on it. This, or 4 different options on it. I can only take 3 of them. Throughout the game, you're also picking up these little torches. The torches allow you to take an extra action. Yeah, so you can take 1 extra action on that card that you're playing that round. So yeah, you've got workers that you're putting out. Actually, no, the workers go out onto the buildings because some of these, this is what's called, this is your building icon. This is what allows you to put pieces out onto the board to build with. And when you do that, you put one of your guys on there to indicate that's your piece.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liked it. But at the
I think I
same time,
liked it a little bit better this time
Yes.
that we played it than the
Yes.
last time, but we've played it twice.
yes, it just doesn't come off the shelf. I do enjoy it. We are going to hold on to it, but it is going to go over into the travel collection because I'm hoping it will see some more love over there. I think it is a very interesting strategy game, but it just doesn't come off our shelf very often. So we're going to move it over and hopefully it will see some love at some events. All right. That is Porta Nigra? Porta, I don't know. I think it's Nigra because Niagara would have another A in it.
Niagara, I said Nigra.
Nigra. All right.
Next is Potions Explosion. And we have the actual expansion in this one too.
Yes. Yeah, we do. And I was looking with 5 or 6 players you're supposed to use because, well, first of all, we have the plastic one. This came with the 5-6 player expansion.
The original one was cardboard.
Yes, and I do have it around here somewhere. Don't ask me where because I don't know, but when you play 5 or 6 players, you're supposed to use both of them. You're supposed to have a bigger variety of...
Anyway.
We've only ever played a 5-player once, so therefore, like I said, I don't even know where it is. All right, so...
It's always got me.
I don't know why that's there.
I don't know.
No, because you don't store them in there. I don't know. Anyway, this is how this plays. Basic overview here. This is going to make some noise. Sorry, guys. So, you put marbles into the trays like such. I'm just going to do this. I need to have something that will actually give an example. Nope, still no examples there.
Nothing at all, lady. Nothing at all.
So, on your turn, everybody has a player board. The beaker holds 3 extra marbles if...
Don't mind me. Just go on.
The beaker holds 3 extra marbles that do not fit into your potions. There are a series of potions out on the table, and when you always have at least 2 in front of you. Flip it over. When you complete one, then you finish off. The last thing of your turn is to pull another one from the display. This has a set collection piece to it also. So the way you fill these. So this is what you're trying to fill. To do this one, I need 2 blue, 1 black, 2 yellow. Potion Explosion, you're pulling potion ingredients off of your display here. So for example, here, what you're trying to do is cause potions to explode. So in this case, I have this yellow here that is between 2 blues. If I pull the yellow, the 2 blues clink together and explode. I get to pull those as well. So if I pull the 2 blues, now I have 2 blacks that have just exploded. If this was like this, I would take all 3 of those blacks, not just the 2 that touched. So I would take all 3 of those blacks, and look, now I have 2 reds, if you can see that on the camera, 2 reds that have touched. I get to keep those 2. Now, if it was, say, like this, let me do this. If it was like this and those 2 blacks had clicked together, that would have ended it because now it's a red and a yellow click together. So then I stop. So now put those 2 blacks back. Then I take all of my potions. Oh, how is that? I got the exact colors I needed. I take all of my potions, or all of my ingredients. Oh, except that I'm missing a yellow. So I would fill in my yellow, I would fill in my black, I would fill in my 2 blues. I don't know if this can be seen on camera, but we're going to try it. I'd fill all that in. These 2 blacks I could either discard or I can put over here on my little desk. If I can keep them from rolling off the table. I put them on a little desk for the next potion I have, unless I have something over here I could use it for. Next turn, if I could get myself another yellow, I would complete it. This would be turned over, and now I can use it for its special ability. Plus, it starts adding toward my set collection, and at the end of the game, it's worth 6 victory points. Each of them have a different victory point marker here, which you can see before you pick them up, so you know how much they're worth. As you are making your sets, whether it be a set of 3 or a different set of 5 different, you're picking up the preset stack of award tiles, and then when the award tiles are gone, the game is over. It's a fun one. I've always enjoyed this one. Oh, sorry. Put that back. And then the expansions add different color marbles to it. They add, it adds a slightly different rule set. The first expansion added more players. So not too bad. We don't play with the expansions very often. Anyway, it is a fun one. We are going to hold on to this. I do enjoy it when it comes off the shelf. But that is Potion Explosion. No tagline on this guy from, it looks like Horrible Guild games.
Huh? Horrible Guild.
Oh, Simon Horrible Guild. I saw that. I didn't even see that one. Okay, anyway, Potion Explosion. It is going to stick around. It might be Horrible Games. I don't know. They don't list it there. Horrible Games. Okay. Anyway, it's going to stick around. All right. Last but not least.
We have Power Grid. This is the deluxe edition.
Yes.
We have the original
Yeah, I found this one. We found this one for the other room
years ago.
Years ago. I don't remember.
We bought an expansion for this and realized it isn't with this when it goes with this.
It was
because
the artwork is completely different.
Yeah,
it was this one here.
Yeah, the original one has different resources than this one has because
because this one uses garbage, whereas this one uses petroleum. No, that's player color.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it does have plutonium, the red. Yes. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't use coal.
Gas.
No, it doesn't have gas. Oh, it doesn't have gas. Yeah, you're right.
But it does have gas.
So instead of gas, you're using garbage.
Yes, because it still has gas in it.
Okay. This one had paper money too, which was awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was that one. This sits in the travel collection. We're going to hold on to this one in the travel collection for sure, but I'm going to set that one aside. The maps are essentially the same. Artwork changed a little bit. That was it. But the maps are huge. They expand out. Like this one is the European side. And then the other side is the U.S. Actually, it's not even the full U.S. It's just part of the U.S. And Canada. Well, yeah, I guess it does. No, that's Minneapolis. Oh, it does go up into Calgary and Edmonton. Okay. All right. Anyway. Actually, I guess it is the whole U.S. because there's the Baja Peninsula and San Francisco. It does have the whole U.S. Okay. It
has North America.
There you go. Good call. All right. So, boards are huge. It is divided into a number of sections. Depending on your player count determines how many sections you're going to play with. You don't ever use the whole board. So you can cut off part of the board depending on your player count. Yeah. So like the last time we played it, we played on the other side. You have to play, yes. So the last time we played it, we played this side, and I think we ended up doing these three. Yeah, because I remember we were down in Rome. Yes. Yeah, we did these three. Yellow, green, and the brown. So Germany and Italy, and then over into Eastern Europe a little bit. Yep. So the way this one plays, you have a number of power plants up here that have a timer on them that show you the different types of energy that they produce, that they require. The different types of energy they require and the number of plants that they will the number of your plants that they will, your stations, I'm sorry, the number of your stations that they will power. And there's different, there's the gas, there's coal, and there's plutonium, or uranium. There's green energy, which you don't have to have anything for, which is nice. You just pay a lot for it up front. And then there is oil. So there's 5 different types of energy plants. On your turn, you start out, every turn starts out with people bidding for these. Everybody can bid on one. Well, let me rephrase that. Everybody can win one. Right. You can bid on all of them. You can only win one, and then you're out of the bidding.
You're out of the bidding.
Right. So there's 2 rows up here. The first row is the only thing that's available. So you can see what's coming, but as these disappear, this may not be what comes up because you're going to pull a new card to put up into this row. And if it happens to fall in numeric order with what's up here, it's going to slide into up here as it is. So it may be something brand new coming up. It may be the one that's right here. You don't know until that card's pulled. So on your turn, you're bidding. You're spending money on that. Then you are spending money to get your resources. And the resources, if you can see that down there, have different costs based on the resource type and the availability, supply and demand. At the end of each round, it does refill. There's a card that goes out here that tells you how far each one of them will refill. Depending on player count. And then you are one player at a time. You are putting out your pieces into the different cities. And the different cities have different values to put in there, whether it be 10, 15, or 20, based on the round we're in. On the first round, only one player can go into each city. Each city is just starting to grow. It can only support one power plant. But as the game goes on in the second round, now each city can support a second power plant. And then the game goes on further. And in the last round of the game, each city can support 3 power plants. But you're never, it is, you're never truly shut out. So if I want to go here, but now I want to come up here, I have to pay this transportation cost. But maybe somebody else is already here and I need to come up here. I have my 10. I would have to pay 10 up here too in the first round, but I also have to pay.
There, even in the second, third
or
round.
yeah, that's true.
Whatever
even
one is open.
The lowest one that's open. Good point.
Yes.
But I also have to pay this transportation cost. I would have to pay $33 just to get up here to do it.
And then whatever.
The plant costs. After that's all done, then you go into a phase where you are starting to energize your plants. So you look at what your plants, what these guys allow you to do it. Like if I had 2 oil sitting on this, I would spend that 2 oil and I could power 4 of my plants. But if I had bought this one, I don't have to spend anything for it. I just power 3 plants with renewable energy. This one takes 2 petroleum or 2 uranium in order to power 6 plants. That's pretty good, but uranium's expensive. 3 coal.
Well, it gets cheaper because nobody.
It does. That's true. So I love this game. It has been sitting on our shelf for so long, unplayed, because so many other new things come out. But this game it's one of those that
it has a engine building type to it because that your plants are what's going to score you the most points. And it's how much are you willing to spend at the beginning and fall behind
to get those good plants out there.
One of the green energy ones was like $25 to get it. It was initial, and I paid you got me up to like $70. But that finished me off. I didn't have to buy another power plant because I had enough stuff out there.
To
as
power,
long as I kept the resources in it, I never had to buy.
And at the end of
the
game, once the game end is triggered with one person, you get above a certain thing. You get your 18th plant out.
It's 3 rounds.
Yeah, well, it's 3 rounds, but the rounds are determined by the number of plants that are out. It's not a predetermined. You're playing 7 rounds. It is determined based on the number of power plants that are on the board for each player. And the game end trigger is one player having 18 power plants out there. So the game end isn't so much how much money you have left or what you've built, or it is what you've built. It's what you can power.
Yes.
We both had 20 power plants out there, or 20 stations out. I could only power 18. You could power all 20 of yours.
Yeah,
and that won you the game.
Powered 25 of them.
Right. That won you the game, though, because I couldn't power all of mine.
Yep.
So, yeah, good one.
Still holds up.
It does. It absolutely holds up.
This one came out 16, I think.
It's been a while.
Of course, it's not going to be on the box. Why would it be on the box? They don't make it easier on
Well, by now I've already put it on the screen.
Yep.
So anyway, good game. If you've never tried this one, it is definitely worth checking out. I think it's an interesting one. So yeah, that is Power Grid. And that is it for this episode.
Yep.
So yeah, one more episode of the Peas left. And then a go back.
Finally.
I know, right? We got, what, 4 more games to play for that one?
I don't want to play another P game for a while.
4 or 5 more games? 5. I think we have 5 games left to play.
The S's and the T's that is going to take about 4 years to do.
It's going to feel like it by the time we're done, yeah. We got the Q's and R's first. Those won't be too bad. The Q's will be quick. But, yeah, it's going to be... Anyway, one more episode of the Peas.
Until then, we'll see you at the next one.